Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the URC. The Bulls taking on Benetton, a side that not many people predicted would win their game last week when they did take on the Sharks, and that helped them get that little bit closer to a quarter-final, although it is still right on the verge. As you can see, such a tight contest between the top 11 here. And in this contest, the Bulls, they are sitting with a chance of going up to second place if the other results go their way, as well as pulling off a big victory here. But first of all, looking through at this Bulls side, who are sitting in fourth at the moment on the URC table, they have gone with a strong lineup for this contest up against Benetton, but it is going to be Gerhard Stennekamp in the front row alongside Aka van der Merwe and Wilco Low, Rohan Vermaak, as well as Rohan Nokia, going to be the locking duo with Mako van Staden, Elric Low, and Cameron Honeycomb as their number 8. Now, there's a huge amount of power and a huge amount of precision when it comes to those breakdowns that we will see from this Bulls loose forward trio. Mbroz Papia is the 9 with Johan Hussen slotting in at 10 for today. Harold Foster in the midfield alongside David Creel, who's been in some sensational form as of late. Then also in the back three, this is where the danger is. Kurtley Aronsa, Kanan Moody, as well as Willie LaRue. So a Springbok back three. What kind of impact can they bring to this contest? Looking through at Benetton, they've got a few changes from what we did see last week, including Thomas Gachot, who moves into number 1, the Argentine international. Lucchese keeps his spot at 2 with Simeone Ferrari still there at 3. Scott Scrafton, that is a name that I haven't said in a little while. In fact, I don't even know if I said his name while calling a game of Super Rugby. I know that he was at the Hurricanes very early on. Might have just got him in for one season, but then also in their locking duo, it is Neyman slotting in as the number 5 is Ekor. He was one of the keys for them in the game up against the Sharks with Sebastian Negri alongside Kanoni. So no Kanoni in the locking duo for this game. I believe that is due to the injury that he did sustain last week. Hopefully, we will get to see him back very soon. Uren and Marin will be the 19 combo with Juan Inacio Brex in the midfield alongside Manoncello, a couple Italian internationals. I almost said Argentine. Onisi Rotave, we didn't see enough of him in that game up against the Sharks. Mendy out on the other wing and Smith slotting in as the fullback. We have got in the chat, hello from Pads Blaze, welcome in, hope you are doing very well. Go the Bulls, says Alfred for Smash the Tars 27-7. Yeah, they had a very nice win in that game, the Western Force, which, to be honest, that's exactly how a lot of people anticipated that game going. And they proved exactly why. They are in with a run and a chance of making it into that top 8. They're getting closer, but they've still got a couple more games to go. Of course, like the URC, couple more rounds remaining. It's do or die now at this stage of the competition for the likes of Benetton. If they can win this game up against the Bulls, not only would it be absolutely massive for them, that would also almost secure themselves their spot in the top 4. Looking through in terms of the reserves for this contest. Now, both of these sides have got some very class players, and the reserves are just the same. Looking through, first of all, for the Bulls, Johan Grubela is there at 16 with Martin Zimmer and also Klopper. Ludwig Nassim Carr as the 2 other forward replacements. Then Johannes Chris Smith, whose kicking accuracy near the end of this game will be absolutely so important for the Bulls, and Sebastian de Klerk there at number 23 off the bench for Benetton, I should say. They have got Garbisi, Albanoz, and Zanon as the back replacements, and also Halafihi. Be sure to keep an eye out for that man as well. Go the Bulls, says Carmen, and hi, how's it going? Says Imran, hope you are doing very well. After us getting smashed by the Blues, says Pads Ablaze. After us getting smashed by the Blues, does that mean you've decided to go onto the Highlanders support train, Paddy, rather than your Hurricanes? Well, you said us sounds like, maybe you're making the switch down south. You're going to Dunners, possibly, in the near future. But looking through at previous fixtures for these sides, the Bulls, they had a close game up against Glasgow. Now, it looked like the Bulls had this game won comfortably. But then Glasgow in the last, I want to say it was the 10 minutes at the end of the contest, just piled on the pressure like we hadn't seen throughout the rest of the game. And in the end, they managed to get themselves the bonus point. Bulls, though, winning it and getting the full 5 points. Gloucester, they were able to beat Benetton in the semi-final of the European Challenge Cup. And of course, we got to see Benetton go head-to-head with the Sharks. Now, this match here is taking place next weekend. That is going to be the Challenge Cup final. So we got a bit of a prelim there of how Gloucester and the Sharks match up with Benetton when both playing at home. Gloucester getting themselves the nice win there. But Benetton, something that we will learn about this side, definitely if they are through to the quarterfinals, is they're pretty consistent in terms of the way that they are able to score around that 20 or so points. You'll notice it as well when it comes to the table. As you can see there, the points differential is 7, which pretty much means for every game that they lose by 10 points, they seem to also win a game by 10 points to kind of balance out the overall scale of things. But this game not too far away from the start. I will support my Canes, but I love Landers too. Says Pads Ablaze. We always got there, come on, Leone. Says Lorenzo. And also we have got there holding up okay. I'm actually at a tier or 2. How are you doing after being smashed? Says Simran. Still begging the Satyrs to go to the top 8. Says the bets I'm on. The thing is though, they still can. That's the crazy thing. I think the only team that can't make the top 8 now is the Waratahs. I think everyone else has still got the potential of making it. And I mean, the Crusaders only just lost to the Brumbies. So as much as you want to say they don't have a shot, if they somehow beat the Blues next week, I still think that they'll be somewhere in that top 8. And I think it will probably be the Rebels that end up missing out. So there's still a bit to go on this competition. And like I've said, the whole way through until I see Crusaders in brackets eliminated, I'm not going to count them out because at the end of the day, they've won 7 titles. There's a reason that they were so good, and that is normally when it comes to that finals mentality. They just haven't been able to find it as of yet throughout this season. We have got there, does that mean the Landers are your forbidden love since your number 1 is the Canes? Says Simran, okay, Hammy. Only here for the South African teams. I don't hate the URC. Just the fans claiming it is near test match level. Super Rugby ain't. But go the Bulls, put on the tries. Says Doctor, well, it is, I guess, appreciated that you have decided to come over and check out a URC stream. The thing is, there's a rivalry at the moment that seems to have built, and I don't know where it's built from, but pretty much it's a case of there are some nice ones in terms of the fact that we get like people from the Northern Hemisphere liking the URC as well as Super Rugby. And then there are times that it seems to be that there's a bit of a, I guess you could say, a miscommunication. And it seems to be that either sides, or in some cases, like, it seems to be not allowed to like both competitions, but you can. Like, at the end of the day, both sides, both competitions can be very entertaining. And that is the case time and time again. I mostly support the Canes, since it's where I am from. So, says Pads Ablaze, and hi, says Patrick Brady. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping extremely well at the moment. Of course, this game is very close to the kickoff. Players will be running onto the field very soon. I see in New Zealand, they have decided to hide the coverage just for now. Hopefully that's going to come back in the very near future, seeing as the game is about 3 minutes away. It's not on TVNZ anymore. It is not, no. It just popped away. So hopefully it comes back. Like I mentioned, or else we're going to be in a little bit of trouble because we will be at the start of a commentary stream for a game that apparently no longer exists here in New Zealand. But we will quickly show the starting lineups again while we do try and find the game once more. Looking through, first of all, at the Bulls, I should say. Gerhard Stennekamp there at number 1. Aka van der Merwe at 2. And then at number 3, they have gone with Wilco Louw, Rowan Vermaak, and Rowan Nokia will be the locking duo with Mako van Staden, Elric Louw, and Cameron Hanekom slotting in as the number 8, Ambros Papia and Johan Goosen as the 19 combo with Harold Foster, David Creel, Kutli Arendse, Kanan Moody, and Willie LaRue to make up the back line for the Bulls. Looking through at Benetton, like I mentioned, a few changes compared to what we saw last week. Zikor, Sebastian Negri, and also Lorenzo Canoni, I think, are the loose forward trio to definitely watch out for. Although, at the same time, you'd have to say that matching up against the Bulls, this one's going to be very interesting because I feel like they both have huge amounts of potential of being able to get turnovers in the breakdown, of being able to cause a bit of disruption and making it a little bit ugly, which I think is what you have to do in a game like this. And that's something that Glasgow actually did pretty well late up against the Bulls. They were able to make it scrappy, make it a bit of a tricky one, and hopefully it's going to be a little bit like that in this contest as well. One moment, we will go like this and like this as well. URC TV. There we go. Hopefully we will be able to get our other option of being able to watch these games going. Okay, so they got how to watch there. So we'll go like that and like that. But ladies and gentlemen, do let me know your predictions for this contest. It is not too far away from kicking off. And we will go like that. In fact, it has kicked off, fun fact, and they've decided to not show it here in New Zealand, even though it was just scheduled. One moment, we will have to fix this. This is what we love to see on a live stream when you've already gone live. Do you also think New Zealand Rugby is suffering? I don't think so. I think that the future's bright at the moment. As much as people want to write a narrative, like until you actually see the teams in action, you don't really know how it is going to end up going. Apparently at the Satyrs Landers game, there were 10 streakers. We have the KFC Chickens who do the funniest dances ever. And also, I think Munster will go well in Super, says Doctor. It's hard to say, though, because like Munster's style, I think, adapts to most games and most teams, I would say. So that's probably why they're not a bad fit for Super Rugby if they ever did decide that they wanted to come across the pond and have a game. We saw that up against the Crusaders and Munster when they went head-to-head. That was actually a thoroughly enjoyable contest, going right down to the wire. In the end, Munster winning that one. Missed kick from Reivez Reihana, which would have made it a draw, which could have been a pretty interesting way to have the first of hopefully many multi-club World Cups. But I should mention this game has kicked off, ladies and gentlemen. We are just waiting for it to kick in on Sky here in New Zealand, or on TVNZ, I should say. They did have it up before, and now it has decided to disappear. I can't watch this match because it's not on TV in Ireland. Says Connor, well, hopefully it is on TV here very soon, so that we can keep you updated with what is happening in this matchup. However, I'm sure this will be an easy Bulls win. The Warriors versus Munster was really close, but now 8 wins in a row by Munster. Munster only lost to Irish clubs this season, says Brian. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, have you currently got a way of watching this game? Because I'm wondering whether or not it's not just New Zealand that's cut out. Maybe it is actually all places that have cut out. I hope that it's not the case. Hopefully you guys are still seeing the game. But for now in New Zealand, it's actually come up saying that this game isn't actually happening per se, which is really weird because it's currently happening. We know of it because it is. So yeah, do let me know, ladies and gents. Can you see the game whereabouts you are if you are watching this stream? Just so that we know whether or not it's going to come back in New Zealand soon. But pretty much it was scheduled to start, and then it was just about to start, and then it disappeared. Wise Rays are desperate to bring Mo'unga back. I feel like, Richie Mo'unga is a very handy option to have in terms of what he offers to the side. I feel like McKenzie's definitely your 10, but Mo'unga would be a very good option off the bench, because who else are you going to have at 10 at the moment for the All Blacks? You've got Peter Feta, who's injured. Alongside that, you've got a couple decent options. Brett Cameron, but at Izzy international level, not sure. I really don't know who else they would actually go with in that 10 jersey, so I don't think it's a bad option to bring Mo'unga back. My typing will suck, so bear in mind, I can only use 2 fingers. Says Pads Ablaze, and hey all, says Zenda in there as well. Hope you are doing very well. The Bulls have struck first in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. They've scored the try, but we're still waiting for it to pop up on the New Zealand broadcaster. Great to my first URC game. So you're saying you're the jinx in that case, Doctor. That is not ideal. One moment. We'll quickly refresh again. Is it going to come back? Or are they just going to not have it available on New Zealand TV? We will quickly go like this. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to lag a little bit, as it does when we are typing frantically. And we go like this as well. We will go like that. Yeah, I'm very hopeful that it's going to come back on New Zealand TV. That is the worst thing that can happen to a live stream, is the fact that, unfortunately, New Zealand broadcasters have dropped the ball and forgotten to put the game on at this point. They were about to show it, and now it's not there. But we will keep you updated. 7-0 at the moment is the way that it sits. Hopefully the coverage comes back in the very near future. We actually had this before with, I believe it was Sky here in New Zealand. They didn't show anything, but for anyone wondering about who scored that try for the Bulls in the game up against Benetton, it was converted and the try was scored by Kanan Moody in only the 2nd minute of the contest. So great start to the match for the Bulls, and they want to try and keep that momentum going as the match does progress. But I am frantically refreshing, hoping that we are going to get to see this game in New Zealand. I hope they never play Moody on centre again and just keep him on the wing, way more effective on the wing, says Justin. Well, that's the thing. Like, Moody out on the right wing, we've been calling for it for a while. And the reason we've been calling for it is because that is just where he's so dangerous. He's able to score himself more tries out there. 13 as well at the moment. David Creel's playing that well that you can stick him out in 13 and you don't really lose anything by having him rather than Moody. And I think that was one of the main concerns at the start. I can't see it. Says Peter Blaze for his message. No, it's still there. I can see it. Oh, I don't know whether or not that is just for me. We still have Beauden Barrett, but we may not, because I think Beauden Barrett may still be an option at fullback that they may consider. And good afternoon, Hamish. It's probably midnight in New Zealand. The Bulls probably by 20 points plus, and it's a magnificent try by Kanan Moody. And yeah, hopefully we can get this game in New Zealand very soon. One moment, we will go like this. This often doesn't happen on a live stream, but when it does make you panic because you have no option but to just wait for them to bring back the coverage to be able to watch the game. All right, we'll go like this. And hopefully, yeah, we don't really want to get a virus. There was one random stream that was like, hey, we've got the game here. Just click on it and it will work. But that's not going to quite happen, I agree. And also good afternoon, Hamish. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? But I hope you are doing very well, Seb. Hopefully you are keeping nice and warm at this time of the year, although I think it's summer, so you should be overall. But ladies and gentlemen, we are just waiting for the coverage here in New Zealand to kick back in. It was there right at the start of the game, and we got about maybe 30 seconds of coverage, and then it disappeared. So we are just frantically clicking, trying to get it back. Did you pay your TV license? It's on a free-to-air broadcaster here in New Zealand. I actually have the URTV app, but unfortunately, because I've got the URC TV app, they don't actually have this game on free-to-air New Zealand. So I'm going to quickly get my VPN up, and hopefully that will help. Well, we'll go like that. And like this. Always love a technical difficulty. What temp by you, Hammy? It's currently 4 degrees Celsius here in New Zealand, or at least where I am. Okay, that's apparently logged me out of my VPN. That is lovely. Everything that could go wrong technologically does seem like it is going wrong at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So I am stressing out very much so. But we'll go like this. And hopefully TVNZ don't mess us around too much more, or else I don't know what to do. Right, that's worked. Hopefully. You should make a Springbok Squad prediction video. Anonymous is hacking you, says Justin. Well, I wish they'd hurry up so that the rugby could come back on. Wouldn't that be nice? But I don't stress, it's not your fault. Yeah, but that doesn't help, does it? Like, in terms of scheduling a live stream and having a whole heap of people. I do appreciate everyone being here, by the way. Even if the coverage at the moment isn't being shown in New Zealand like it should be. Like, they've shown every other game that has taken place with the South African side, and this game was scheduled to take place, and then for some reason it just completely disappeared. Checking in from Brisbane, mate. You look like you need a red hot swig of an energy drink, Auckland for life. No, I think it's just because I'm stressing about this not showing. Can you explain what's happening? Does New Zealand not like the Bulls? No, well, they've shown every other game for the Vodacom Bulls. The only thing that's really changed here is the fact that for some reason TVNZ had the coverage and then it disappeared. Currently 7-0 in this contest. First try of the contest was scored by Kanan Moody to use Flow Rugby. Is that only free for Americans? I think it's only free for Americans, Justin. Do they have the URC on Flow Rugby? I'm just about to set up a VPN to try and set me to a different location so that I have the option of being able to watch this game. Hopefully, it is better than the URC right now. This is near test level. They're testing the TV aerial, says a doctor there. Now we're just quickly allowing the VPN to work, which hopefully it will, and then we'll be right into the action. But 7-0 at the moment in this contest. They're almost 10 minutes in, and the Bulls getting that first try of Kane Moody, which was a very good one by the sounds of it. Was able to score it near the corner. We'll go like this. And we'll go like this. Right, refresh the page. Hope that it gives us the option. Watch anywhere, how to watch, see details. I think I'm going to have to probably want to buy this elsewhere might be the option that I have to go with. Make the payment in New Zealand dollars. Can I just buy the game? That might be an option. One moment, ladies and gents, we're getting there. I once again do apologise for the coverage not being on in New Zealand. I will be lagging a little bit while I try and do this as well. But pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to try and buy this game to watch. It's probably the most expensive way of doing it, but it's the only way that we're really going to be able to do it, I believe. One moment. Password. I don't even know it. Is that the right password? Maybe. All. Game is unavailable in your location. Are you sure you want to continue? Wait, what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm not going to get the game if I pay for it? Maybe. We're going to have to try it though. We're going to spend $15 to hopefully be able to watch this game. And hopefully it all works smoothly. 4-2. Right. So, yeah, it said that we probably won't be able to watch it here if I buy it for myself, which I'd like to think the URC would consider refunding if that is the case. Thank you for your purchase. Great. And I've paid for it. Okay, I think I just got scammed. I don't think I can actually watch that game even though I just paid money to watch it. Now we'll go here. We'll go onto the emails and hopefully it will work if we set ourselves to a new location. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bulls attack is looking good, says Justin. I hope... Are we all not able to watch it? Says Doctor. Can't you VPN if you paid, says Anthony. Yep, I just got to wait for the VPN to kick itself in the guts and actually work. Because at the moment it doesn't want to, which is not ideal. Can't watch most games, says Pets Blaze. See, they're all on New Zealand TV normally. Okay. So, available in all countries except for all of those ones. So I need to set myself to a random location around the world. One moment, ladies and gents. We're going to get this game going, whether it hurts us or not. I don't think I've sweated so much on a live stream from the pressure of trying to get this sorted. Why are the Bulls playing at the same time as Alfies versus Grey? Alfies is a school right next to Loftus. There are over 10,000 people at the Alfies game right now. That seems weird that they actually overlap two games that are simultaneously like going to bring quite a substantial crowd to a contest, I would think. Right, we're gonna become German for a bit, and hopefully that will work, ladies and gentlemen. If it does not, then I spent $15 on a game that I cannot watch, which would be very unfortunate. But it is just connecting. Still 7-0 at the moment for the Bulls in this contest. Morning, Amish brother. Welcome in, Birdie. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Hope you're excited for the future games that are coming. Of course, for now, TVNZ do actually have the other two games scheduled, so we should be able to watch them no problem whatsoever. It's just more of the case of whether or not this game is going to be available easily in New Zealand or not, which, like I mentioned, they normally are, and we normally have no problems whatsoever with watching the games. We've covered 50 games of the URC or something this season. The Bulls are on hot attack, my commentary. Says Mornay. I agree, read us book, brother. And also they've started no score yet. And keep you updated, Paul Ruiz, bet Paul Gim, or Paul Gim, I should say. 23 points to 17. Why not a career in process? Says James. What do you mean, James? Why not a career in process? Why not a career? I'm very confused what that means, to be honest. Right. Live game. Watch now. Oh, have we done it? I think if I log in on my phone, we should have the game on the smallest screen that I own, but I'm still happy enough with it. Right. One moment, ladies and gents. We're about to see the game, I hope. Right, and we'll go like this. And like that, still 7-0 for now in this contest. And Alfie's 3-0. And Hamish, what about the Stormers game? We are still going to be doing that game as well. Like I said, they've just had a technical difficulty with this contest, it would seem, for on New Zealand TV. But I believe I may have just fixed it. I hope. But yeah, they still don't have it on TVNZ. We've got the game. We've got the game. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, 7-0. The Bulls are currently sitting after 14 minutes and 44 seconds. If anyone wants to help pay for that game that I've just spent $15 on, be sure to click that subscribe button. And also be sure to hit that donate button too. We're going to put it down in the middle of the field, or in the middle of my screen, I should say. And Bros Papier, they are just showing him. I'm very happy at the moment. I am from Germany. Guten Tag. Is that even German? It is for now. But that is where we've had to set ourselves to. It's a scrum for the Bulls. They are 5 meters out from Benetton's line. In fact, this might even be... Is this going to be a Benetton scrum here? Where's the ball? It's on a small screen. Oh, there he is. Uren has just run over with the ball. Thanks, young man. Yes, that's German. Well, I'm now German, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, that was stressful, but I do apologise once again for how long it took to be able to get that up and running. I should have had that prepared, but then, like I said, we've had 50 games that we haven't had any problems whatsoever. The Benetton side have managed to get that ball in. Lorenzo Canoni sitting 5 metres out from their own line here. Benetton, we got a £5 or $5 donation from Pads of Plays. Greatly appreciated, mate. Can the Lions make the top 8? They actually can. With where they sit at the moment, they would need to do some pretty good work over the last 2 rounds. They need to beat Glasgow for one, and then I believe if Benetton win this game, that is going to hurt a little bit more in terms of their chances of making the top 8. But just outside of their 22, looks like now Benetton with Uren will be rolling this ball back. Should mention I've got absolutely no commentary in my ears whatsoever. I've got headphones on, but I can't hear the game. That's all right. We are happy with the fact that we can still see it. Going to be kicked downfield towards the halfway line now. Kane and Moody running to the far side. Almost through the tackle of one. Inacio Brex. David Creel looking to step through. Gets through the attempt of Onisi Ratave. Now, these are the kind of moments when I can't hear the game, when I don't see the lineups, that I'm glad that I've spent a lot of time researching these players so that I know who's got the ball. But Kurtley Arendse now offloading it up to Gerhard Steenekamp. Papier back across to Willy Larue. Don't act to me, I'm broke. Says the Blues, Nate. And are you German? Great. Says Sebastian. And I don't think I can read out the rest of that. Now, why not a career in professional sports commentary, mate? The thing is, I love the fact that on these live streams, I can talk to you guys during them. That's a great thing for him. Kurtley Arendse, ball on the inside. And David Creel scores the try. He has been in sensational form over the last, I don't even know how long, 6 months, 2 years, you name it. He's been playing well, and David Creel strikes second for the Bulls. They've got themselves their second try. It's that legal, Hamish. You get into trouble, Hamish. As I can see, you're not a German. I am a German, though. Guten Tag. See? I am from Germany. I hope to see David Creel get a cap against Wales this year. Also, way back in the day, my sister randomly, for some reason, decided that I needed a German pen pal, so I talked to a German once. So that should count, right? That's how it works. That's a true story, by the way. I'm at 17 minutes in, and the Bulls have taken a nice lead here, 12 points to 0. And this one should be a nice easy kick for Johan Goosen. I'm hoping we don't have to spend $15 on every game tonight, but if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. Sounds like a Euro trip. And Hamish is a New Zealand Saxon, and the Germans came from the Saxons, so Hamish is German. Donate to me. Also, I need a beer too. Wait, what? Pen pals are still a thing? Nah, this was like 15, if not longer, years ago. In fact, probably longer than 15 years ago. His name was Florian, and I haven't really heard from him in a long time. But, yeah, I'm sure he's still about, I assume. He's still active on Facebook sometimes. But 18 and a half minutes in, 2 tries already for the Bulls, who are starting to really find some nice momentum in this contest up against Benetton. Exactly what they needed to do. Strike first, strike early, and strike a lot. Nice run forward from Elric Lowe there. It looks like it's going to be Ambrose Papier going for the box kick again. From just on his own 22. Ball's gone up high. I have a pen pal in Germany from a university project for my German class. There you go. German pen pals, more common than people think. That's a great kick. That is a fantastic kick, and that's going to be a 50-22 there for the Bulls. They are just continuously applying this pressure, and that is something that the Sharks weren't able to really do effectively last week. They didn't keep the foot on the gas, and they allowed a little bit too much breathing space. Are you still full-blood New Zealand, Hamish? Are you only German for this match? Exactly right, yep. Guten Tag. What's thank you in German? Cheer. No, cheers. Cheers sounds, what would, thank you? That's not German. I remember pen pals are still using letters. Sent via the post office, says Zender. Yeah, nowadays a pen pal is just pretty much someone, like you don't have a pen pal, you literally just message people from all around the world. That is a short ball and a half to Kutli Arensa. And he's over the line, 3rd try, Danke Schoon, bitter, says Shane Mitchell in there as well. Is that how you say thank you in German, just bitter? But great try for Kutli Arensa. Another one coming for them. Good day to all the Kiwi Lad pals. Welcome in, Arthur. But this is just great pressure from the Bulls, and they have come out like a team on fire here. Just continuously looking to get over the try line. I pronounce Dankeschön. Hopefully I said that correctly. Yeah, Kutli Arensa almost held up by Onisi Ratave, but just putting it down. Bit is you're welcome. And there and go, the Bulls go for 70 today. And tell you what, like with the amount of time that they've got remaining, I don't want to say it's impossible to get to 70 because it's actually like they're 20 minutes in. If you times what they've got by 4, they've got 80 points almost. What do you think about Eldrick Lowe and Honeycomb for the box? Ooh. Now, I honestly, this is a bold take, and I feel like over the last few times that we've talked about, like, I think that Evan Roos is not going to be a Springbok. Not now anyway, because his discipline just lets him down every time. Now, they might still look to put him in, but I don't know whether you can look to him in a big game and say you've got to keep your cool because he's just going to go out there guns blazing. So I think Eldrick Lowe, I think Honeycomb, I think Diamani, the fact that he has been snubbed a few times, he looks like he's going overseas now. Like, there are a few really good options at the moment in that loose forward trio. That looks like now Manoncello will be making his way from the field for an HIA possibly, or an injury. That is the last thing that they wanted in this situation. They need him out on the field after the way that he played up against the Sharks, but a short ball from Kanoni. Chance for Benetton now to have a bit of ball in hand and look to build some sort of attack. Thought about the offload. Great driving tackle made by Kane and Moody. Frankie Horn is also a solid 8th man who will unfortunately be overlooked. Says Justin. What about Pepsi Butalese? Exactly right. He is an option as well. Like, Tachuka's not eligible, but if he was, boy, he would be right in the conversation. Like, throughout these South African sides, there are just many good options, and I feel like they're kind of spoiled for choice, even when you think through it, some of the guys who come off the bench as a reserve, whether that's Fenta, whether that's A lot of them. There's so many. Nabakaba. I don't know how he ranks at the moment, but I'm just thinking of loose forwards that I can list. Marcel Kutsia, maybe getting a little bit old. A bloke that could have to tell repeatedly to keep his cool. He's not a man you want in your team. Shame because he's a great loose forward. Yeah, like he brings aggressiveness. And that is something that I feel like is definitely a part of some of the loose forwards in the Springboks mentality of going out there, putting in big hits and trying to drive your opposition backwards. His problem is when he gets a little bit too keen and then does something silly. Now I can see it. Really? Is it on TVNZ now? Huh. Okay, it's on TVNZ now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just checking to see which one's further ahead. Oh, tell you what, we're going to keep watching it on URC TV because it is actually further ahead. So, and I paid $15 for it, so I've got to watch it now. Tachukid brothers play for the Democratic Republic of Congo. They need more, yeah. Whether or not Democratic Republic of Congo ever get a team together that they can represent, because they will definitely be the stars of that side. Caden Moody, 24 minutes in at the moment. The possession is on the side of the Bulls, and Bros Papier passes back across Johan Goosen, actually having a run for it at, I believe it would have been Lucchese. I'm at 24.54, so I'm currently 24.21, and Ruan Nokia will score between the sticks. That man is a great player, and he might even be in there. Supersport equivalent is almost $100 per month. There's Arthur Harrison. But yeah, we have like Sky here in New Zealand, which I believe works out to be about $45, $50 per month. But yeah, this is like an extra game that I've just had to buy off the bat. Peter Lakai is exciting. He is. Bright future for him. These guys better not switch off second half, says Justin. But yeah, at the moment, I mean, they're scoring all their points in the first half, so I think it's going to be hard to stop these blokes at the moment because they're just going. The Bulls are 26 points after 25 minutes. Where is Benetton? That's why I'm a Kiwi Lads fan. Is it $15 a month or is it only for this game? So this game single-handedly is $15 US, I believe. So I'll just quickly look. USD to NZD. So I believe for this game, oh no, payment in New Zealand dollars. So it's 15 New Zealand dollars just to watch this game. Will the Sharks win today with that team? What is your prediction? I mean, they look all right on paper. There's still a couple changes, of course, but like I think they'll be all right. I think that they'll have the advantage over Cardiff, but it's going to be an interesting game. I'm going to be closely watching that one alongside Stormers versus Conard, which is actually the game we are covering when it takes place. Ruan Nokia and Ruben van Heeren, great choices if the box locks get injured. And even like Ruan Vermaak throughout this season, I think has been very impressive for the Bulls as well. Why $15? So pretty much the coverage that we normally watch in New Zealand wasn't going. So we had to pretty much think on our feet after about 5 minutes of trying to get it back, or 10 minutes of getting it back. We then had to put a VPN in, and then from there pay $15 just to watch this game as the setup, but luckily we can see it now, so that's a bonus. So we're making the most of the 15, that is for sure. Now a little flick pass out the back door for Benetton now. Great attack and run through the cap for Lucchese. He's gone himself, and then he's thrown it into touch, which is not exactly what they needed in that case. Just a draw and pass. It's like a grandstand ticket, says Zender, and Bulls putting on a show, says Doctor, and a point a minute. Going to be a long day for Benetton. Yep. And it already looks like some of their players are starting to gas out a little bit just from the intensity of what has happened. What VPN do you use, Hamish? Might need to be German occasionally too, says Anthony. So I ended up using pure VPN in the end, just because that's the only one that I still had on my phone. But there's some good VPNs around. Now that I know that URC TV is available through the VPN, I mean, that's good news. But at the same time, anytime I want to do a game that's not shown in New Zealand, that would be $15, which is Slightly unfortunate. A point a minute. Going to be a long day. And Bulls putting on a show. Lions will win the Warriors. Says Julian. It's going to be a great game, Lions versus Glasgow. I think that is the type of performance that the Lions, if they can back up, what they did. Did they play last week, the Lions? They got a good win, didn't they? In the end, they were the one game of the weekend we didn't cover on that Sunday. And paid for 2-pack of 130 grams KFC flavoured chips at Loftus last month. It's pretty steep. That's pretty expensive if you convert it to rand. Says Mona, yeah, I think it's like 1,500 rand or something like that maybe. Or no, sorry, 150 rand I think is the conversion there. Just to watch one game that I already had. But what we got to do sometimes. At the end of the day, it's much better that we got the coverage now than just saying, sorry guys, we're just waiting to see if it's going to come back, which in the end it did. Now off the back, coming on Honeycomb. He wanted the offload to Ambrose Papier, but couldn't keep it alive. Lions won well last week. Says Burning Lash. So yeah, South African sides at the moment, with the exception of the Sharks, who at this stage of the competition, their games, don't get me wrong, yes, they mean something, but they don't mean anywhere near as much as some of the other sides from South Africa, because they are more concentrated currently, the Sharks, on their Challenge Cup final. That is taking place next week. We are going to be covering that one on the channel. And $20 for chips. I burned the stadium down. And Ulster Rugby, says Joshua Miller there. Of course, Ulster still in the top 8 as we currently sit, so they will be more than happy with their ranking, although they love a home final. I feel like that's the big thing. I thought he typed $20 of 130 kg of KFC. Tell you what, that's a pretty good deal if it's $20 for 130 kgs. Oh, bit of a rough pass there. Stolen by Ezekor. And Benetton now inside of the Bulls 22. I mean, one try would be nice, but it's not going to make a huge difference at the moment, the way that the game sits. But you got to start somewhere. Juan Inacio breaks. Ball on the outside. Into the hands of Onesi Ratave, who goes in for the corner. The flying Fijian. And he's going to score it between the posts as well, or at least in line with them. Benetton back in the contest, kind of. They've got to try anyway. And Lions should win 2 other close games. Says 1-2-3 MS. Reno Smith with a nice pass on the outside there. Consolation points. I mean, they're only consolation points if the Bulls win. If somehow, like in that game up against Glasgow, Benetton can get right back into the contest, then they no longer become consolation points. They become big mistakes from the Bulls. Because, yeah, that game we didn't expect when they were 40 points to about 20 up that Glasgow were going to score about 2 or 3 quick tries and almost get a win in that game. I don't write them off yet. They've done something like this before, says Sebastian. And they always average around that 20-point mark for Benetton, or at least around that 25. Probably the Gremlins that didn't like the Bulls. I'm glad it's back on New Zealand TV. I am, but I'm not. Because now everyone can watch it in New Zealand. I'm not, because I ended up paying $15 to then watch it. But to be fair, it's a little tiny bit more ahead at the moment. So that's one bonus, I guess. I've probably got about 30 seconds ahead. That looked like it was close to a knock-on there in the breakdown, but I think that was actually against Elric Lowe, which is why it didn't count as the knock-on. Instead was going to be play on. The Bulls win. They have 61 points on the log, says Julian Moses. Yeah, the fact that they've already secured their bonus point, and we are only sitting 32 minutes into the game, is extraordinary work from the Vodacom Bulls. But it's kicked downfield now. Nicely taken inside of their 22 there for Benetton. Reno Smith bends off one, close to the touchline. Nice stepping there from Mendy. They have to make sure that they don't mess around with this ball for too long. Holly Davison gives the penalty again for Benetton. Considered a quick tap. I don't know whether now's the time to go for quick taps. If you're Benetton, I feel like you're much better off just building into it a little bit more. And, not rushing it's the main thing. They know that they're chasing the game at this point. So your biggest task is to just slowly wear away at that clock. Are you streaming the Black Ferns game tomorrow? Well, today for you, says Jackson A. Sadly, we won't be for that contest. I'm hoping to do New Zealand versus Australia. I think it's next week or the week after that we get to see that one in action. I'm really hoping to be able to cover that one. But, yeah, sadly, just due to overlaps and also due to what's happening in real life, like in terms of we've got plans in the afternoon, which might cut into that time. So it's going to be a bit tricky. How much bet on the Bulls? Going to go to sleep, says Azenda. Now, nicely counter-ruck there. Yeah, the Bulls have to make sure that they stay alert in this game. They cannot afford to take their foot off the gas, because if they do, that is when problems start occurring. You look and sound fresh after all the good commentary so far today. We appreciate it. Thanks, says Brian. Yeah, the voice is holding up all right at this point, which I'm very happy about. Papia should be a bok, as Hellant. Yeah, I think Ambrose Papia is probably, for me, this is, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I don't think we've seen enough of Jaden Hendrickse to at all put him in the Springboks. And I think that Ambrose Papia, or I mean even Zach Berger, I think his impact off the bench has been pretty good for the Bulls so far. But yeah, I'd probably say Ambrose Papia as a shot of being in that Springbok squad for the Rugby Championship, maybe even the July Internationals. When it's a scrum penalty falling away, says Arthur. As in, like, when is it getting taken out of the game, or when is it like that they're giving them away a lot? Should keep Benetton to 0 log points, says a Burning Lash. And hey, you're going to do the America's Cup, brother. When does the America's Cup start, bro? Doctor, I actually do not know, unfortunately. Now back into the pocket, kick to downfield. And that one's going to be bouncing up nicely. Taken Johan Goosen. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. We have good there. Let's watch, says Ritsima, and Danke for the commentary. And there as well from Ritsima. Hopefully I said that correctly. Is it thanks for the commentating? I hope. It's probably not, though. It's probably show us the game. It's like little of those lines taking out the game. Now apparently a tap and go, says Arthur. Oh, yeah, so free kicks in a scrum do lead to tap and go rather than the option of taking a second scrum to try and speed up Nohamba as well. Yeah, although Nohamba's been playing more at 10. So I actually think that they'd probably look at Vandenberg more likely than Nohamba, just because Vandenberg's actually been playing in that 9 jersey, whereas Nohamba's been playing more at 10. So they might look at Morne Vandenberg as that better option. We have got that, say, for argument's sake, the Island team playing this subscription will come in handy, says Morne Lagrange. And translation, thanks for the commentary, I appreciate it, says Brian. Well, thank you very much for the Zima. And Jaden is already a bot. Papia does deserve a shot, but it's also about team stability, not just last week's form. It is, but what have we seen of Jaden Hendrickse recently? In terms of, like, I'll be honest, is he playing for another team other than the Sharks? Because I don't think I've seen him play for the last, 10 weeks. And I think he's got an injury at the moment. So, it's one of those ones that, don't get me wrong, he deserves a chance again, but I don't think this year is going to be Jaden Hendrickse's, just because, and then you've got to remember as well, when you think about it, how many halfbacks are they going to go with this time? They went with 4, which gave that extra opportunity. So at the moment, you could look at it as you've got Ranak, you've got Williams, if they still play him as a halfback, you've got Faf de Klerk, and then they had Hendrickse as the 4. There's a chance that maybe, you either lose Grant Williams or you lose Hendrickse, and then you add in someone else like Ambrose Papia or Morne Vandenberg. But it looks like now the Bulls are actually going to take on a 3-pointer, which is something you do not see from them too often, and that's why he's actually just missed that one away. Or in fact, I should mention it was actually a try. Yeah, they did just score. It was kind of Moody down the wing. I watched it happen while I was describing something, and I just watched him run it in. It was a nice, easy draw and pass from Harold Foster. I actually, to be honest, I thought it was a replay. It looked so easy for Kane and Moody, but yes, the try was scored. My apologies, ladies and gents. I watched it happen as well. I was like, oh, yep, Kane and Moody scored the try, easy peasy. Forgot to say about it. And Box should make an A-team and play African teams. Try to help them, Kenya, Namibia, Zimbabwe. I agree, even if it's not South Africa A, because I think that they would still probably beat them quite badly. If it's just a Springbok developmental side or the South African under-20s, why don't they get a few games up against the older boys in Zimbabwe and all those type of places and help develop their rugby as well in Africa? How many rounds of the URC? I believe we've got about 19 and we're up to about 17 rounds now. But now Benetton, they have got this one in their hands. Uren goes back across there to Marin, the first receiver, when they are scoring so effortlessly. You forgot to mention the latest of them. Yeah, like that try looked like it was like no Benetton players on the field, to be honest. South Africa C team, yeah, something like that. Or, a developmental side that they can use, made up of the rest of the players in the URC that aren't selected for the Springboks or aren't selected for South Africa A. Like, they'll find players, but I don't think they'll do it, unfortunately. I feel like they'll be like, no, instead, would rather them not playing and they get a bit of a rest. Chainsaw Massacre says, Outlaw, how many go into the playoffs? 8. But they have got a 16-team competition, so it makes sense. Unlike Super Rugby. Now, Benetton kicking this one for the corner after the penalty goes against Marco van Staden. He was just trying to run it back. And Uren, to be fair, I don't think he actually saw him there. I think he was trying to get it out the back line. We have got there, Hamish, you missed the dual scrum half strategy we came up with just before the World Cup. The whole strategy was explained on Discord, says Grant. So would you have Jaden Hendrickson, Grant, or would you go with someone else? You can use the subscription more often. Say, for instance, if 2 Irish teams playing each other. That is true. The only problem with it, of course, is it's $15 per game that they charge you, which can be pretty steep on top of the subscription fees we already pay. But like for this game, I was happy to do it because I had to, seeing as we had already started the live stream and TVNZ set us up. That's now going to be the try off the rolling maul for Lucchese, and Benetton are back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth at the moment, but more so fourth in favour of the Bulls. One normal scrum half and one rapid one. Can you do Sale Sharks with Saracens? Sadly not. We have got 2 more games of the URC tonight that we are going to be covering. Kenya coming up pretty good. They had a good game against Samoa, good hit out. Says Doctor, and Africans Women's Rugby is actually being developed at the moment. It's great to see because they're actually showing the games on YouTube as well. And I feel like that's the perfect way of getting people to know about it. You've got to draw them in, and that's why the likes of the URC, Super Rugby, and all of those competitions, the under-20s, I think should have been on YouTube. I know that there were exclusive broadcasters, but at the same time, there could have been opportunities to show maybe 1 or 2 games just so that more people get invested into the competition. And Alfie's is 9 points against Gray after 31 minutes. And thanks, mate, for live streaming comms. Can't seem to watch this game anywhere in the UK, says Dan. Do you have a VPN, Dan? Out of curiosity, because fun fact, the game wasn't being showed here in New Zealand, unlike the rest of them, so I sent myself to Germany and had to buy it through URC TV. But if you don't mind spending $15 on the game, that is a good option for you to be able to watch this second half. Benetton try, there was the Benetton try. Yep, rolling more, Lucchese was able to score it, but this is now half-time in this contest, 31 points to 14, and what has been a half that has absolutely flown by. One of the main reasons for that was because we weren't able to watch the first 20 or so minutes, or 15 minutes, I would say, of the game. We were trying to get it back. Let's Curry Cup All-Star team, Chateau Africa and Asia. I like the idea. Who won the under-20s? It was New Zealand, followed by South Africa, then I believe Argentina, and then Australia was the order that they ended up having. And is the Bulls slipping again? No, guys. Says Outlaw. I mean, to be honest, like this half was a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be at the start because we saw such a good start from the Bulls. Early try from Kane and Moody. And then they were backing it up with tries from, Honeycomb. I think Kurtley Aronsa managed to get himself one as well. And they were just scoring effortlessly time after time. But now they're in the position of, yes, they've been scoring. They got themselves 5 tries. They've already secured that bonus point. And then there's the but, which is Benetton are only 2 converted tries and a penalty away from being equal in this game, which does still sound like a lot, of course, and it is. But, it's not a mile off anymore. And come on, you spaghetti munching fellows, says Gareth. Last try was down to poor discipline by Van Staden. Yeah, although he got a little bit unlucky. To be fair, he didn't, did he? He just ran around the wrong side of the breakdown and should have waited before trying to run back when the halfback was about to play it. And the Bulls must not rest on their laurels like last week, says Mornay. And brew myself a coffee, I didn't fancy it. It's just the addiction. How's it going, everyone? Says Sebastian. Well, we're doing very well now, Seb. We've got the game. I can't remember if you brewed it just before or just after we Ended up losing the coverage. Bought it through URC TV. And we are currently in German. So once again, guten Tag to everyone who is viewing. Should I say Danke something? I can't remember the last part. Danke is actually Afrikaans as well, isn't it? I believe. Obaya Danke. That might be what I'm thinking of. Yeah, half-time in this contest. And I feel like the second half's going to be just as entertaining. We've seen some quick plays. Moody at 14 is just a really good option. And I feel like they should be taking notes for the Springbok side of things as well. He is the type of player you need to have out on the wing rather than in the centres. It frees up the option of having a midfield combo at the moment of... Can I be honest? I think David Creel's been playing that well. He's got to be in there. And I think that, Damien Dealende, David Creel, is that a combo that could work? Where does Lukanyoan fit in at the moment, I think is maybe the tougher decision because, probably they'd go Lukanyoan in the starting side. Up against the lower ranked side, though, I would definitely have Creel in that squad just off what he's been able to do, the way that he sets up play for this backline of the Bulls, the amount of try assists that he has to Kutley Ardensa and Caden Moody has been pretty strong. Also makes his tackles when he needs to. As liner in for Benetton, says Hanoi. He's not in the starting lineup. And he also isn't coming off the bench in this game. Instead, in the back line, Alejandro Garabisi, Thomas Albanoz, and also Marco Zanon. The three-man arm shouldn't be a Bok anymore. There's 123 MS. I think you can buy a donkey from Blackpool Beach. So sure one of them scammers is willing to sell it to you if the price is right. Says Sebastian. And have to go back to Grindstone till 6. Mushrooms and garlic cheese pizza for lunch quickly. Says Ruth. What sounds alright though. Wouldn't mind a pizza myself. Creel is in better form than yeah, wait, that's from Burning Lash, isn't it? Who was the one earlier on who said that you can't pick a player off? Where is it? Here it is. Right, sorry to do this to you, Burning Lash. Right? But it's also about team stability, not just last week's form. Right? But then, the next comment, a comment later on, is about Creel being in better form than So, is it the exception of his position rather than Hendrickson? Sorry to call you out like that. I feel bad now, but I was just wondering whether or not it changes per position, perhaps, in terms of what the goal is. What is the score prediction for the Stormers game? It's going to be tough, but I do believe that the Stormers can win that game. Connacht are a good side at the moment, and they've had some close games at times, but then at other times they've struggled quite a bit. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it either way. That is the last game that we are covering. Before that one, we are going to be covering the Lions versus Glasgow. And also we've got the has a serious rugby brain. He does. It's just, I honestly, nothing against Lukanyoan. It just seems like as good of a rugby brain as he has, his body doesn't seem like it's quite doing what it used to, if that makes sense. Because he seems to know what he wants to do, but he's just not quite able to do it quick enough, if that makes sense. But he's still a great player, and I feel like he might still be in that Springbok side. One day I'll deliver it to you personally, and then let me know your favourite toppings. I do love myself a chicken and cheese pizza. It's pretty basic. It sounds kind of boring, but it's quite nice, to be fair. And also we have got there, his reflexes are slower. And Keto, explain yourself, mate. This is Sebastian. And also we have got there, Roof Customs will post you straight back to Cape Town. Yeah, you'd have to either buy or make the pizza in New Zealand, Roof, so that you can deliver it. 22 kilometre cold north wind at the game today. Connacht more accustomed to those conditions. That's true. The South Africans have probably been enjoying some nice warm weather recently. Now going to Connacht, where it does not sound pleasant at the moment. But second half is not too far away from getting underway, ladies and gents. That was actually a really free-flowing half of rugby as well, in terms of the amount of time that it took when the body and the brain start working in unison, says Arthur. But yeah, like in terms of being able to set up a backline, and I honestly do think Lukhanyo Arm's got a real bright future of coaching when he does retire. 2-day cold pizza. Ooh. Tell you what though, cold pizza every once in a while is not a bad thing. You know, or the Higuares ever return to Super Rugby. I miss them so much. There's Jackson. Hey, there's a chance that maybe one day they decide to give them another shot. I don't know what's happening after 2026. I feel like that is the time that everyone knows that it's the 12 teams when we'll rusty blood new players. I feel like this is the start of a new window, so this is probably the best time for him to start giving those young guys the opportunity, whether it is like someone who hasn't had much of a crack. Like, I mean, they've got options. That's the thing. The Boks are good enough that even if they have a few young guys chucked in there, they will still win games. And it's all about who fits the mould of what Russie's big plan is for the Springbok side. The Lions beat Connacht and Connacht. And why can't the Stormers beat Connacht and Connacht? Says Morne Lagrange. I think that the Lions have been a little bit more consistent at maybe the last 5 legs at the moment. And I can eat anything, not cold pizza. Why not cold pizza? What's wrong with cold pizza? To be fair though, I understand what you're saying to a certain extent. The first bite of cold pizza is really weird. And you're kind of like, this texture's not right. This feels like it should be hot. But once you take a few more bites, all of a sudden you're 7 slices down and you're like, cold pizza ain't so bad. So, you know, once in a while, cold pizza goes all right. Not like cold enough that it's been in the freezer though. That's just taking it a bit far. Although freezing a pizza and then putting it in the oven, heating it up for a bit, makes it nice and crispy. This has become a pizza chat somehow. I don't know how, but 31 points to 14. Make cold pizza and chips normal. Chips are a bit more tricky for myself. Like pizza's good when it's cold, but chips, depending on the chip, sometimes they get a little bit like crumbly. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. But 2 tries scored by Benetton. One for Juan Inacio Brix, not Juan Inacio Brix. It was actually Alukasi. And the other man who was able to score it was, in the end, Onisi Ratave for the Bulls. They have scored plenty of tries. 1 for David Creel, 2 for Kanan Moody, 1 for Kurtley Arnsa, and also 1 for Cameron Hanekom. Oh no, sorry, Nokia has also got himself a try. I don't think Kurtley Arnsa has scored himself one yet. Unless I did my maths wrong. No, I don't think he has. Or has Hanekom scored? He may not have. Now that I think about it, it might have actually not been Cameron Hanekom. Cold pizza's bad, Hamish. It's better served hot. It's better served hot, but sometimes you don't have something to heat it up. Like, and just sticking it in your clothes under your shirt just doesn't get it hot enough, you know? Plus it gets a bit greasy. I'm joking, by the way. I don't do that much. I wonder how it would go. Tin foil down the pants. See whether or not you can heat a pizza up to melt the cheese enough, you know? I don't think you would, because your body temperature's only like 30, 32, 33. I can't remember the degrees. But, you know, stick it down there for a while and see whether or not you get a nice warm snack. I use leftover pizza and chips, cold obviously, to treat me hangover in the morning. Lovely stuff, says Sebastian. And cold pizza is good. Warm left out in the sun pizza is gross, says Doctor. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And Luke chewing on old Tiki Morne. And pizza, pie and sauce. Unpopular opinion, pasta is better cold than hot. Some pasta is. Like, there was some that I had a few years ago, which was like chicken and bacon, like cheese pasta or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it was, but that was bloody good the next day. If your body is 32 degrees, you're pretty effed up. What's it supposed to be, Sebastian? I think it's 30-something, isn't it? 39, 38? Something along those lines. Both sides about to make their way back out onto the field, ladies and gentlemen, for this second half, which has gone by very quickly. I can't remember how hot your body's supposed to be. That's a weird sentence for anyone who's just tuned in. 37 or 36, 37. Okay, yeah, 32 means you're probably a bit chilly, doesn't it? Means you should probably warm up a bit. But like, when you think about it, if you run your spa bath at 40 degrees Celsius, like that's pretty warm. So there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to melt pizza in my pants as the players make their way back out onto the field, ladies and gentlemen. 55 minutes past 12 here in New Zealand, 5-1. But this game is full of action, and we've almost had 55 points scored throughout this contest. Afrikaans is about 300, 400 Old Dutch. Says 1, 2, 3 MS, pineapple and chili beef. Says Roof there as well, but now second half Benetton will be looking into the sun for this half in pizza pants. Says Doctor there. Second half. Right on the verge of starting now. I'm excited for it. It's kicked off by Benetton, and the Bulls will take it inside of their 22. Dutch has changed in the meantime. We certainly don't mind hot people. You're always sizzling, Hamish, hot. Only fans of pizza. Hamish warming up pizza. I don't think it would do very well, I'll be honest. I feel like you guys wouldn't subscribe to warming up pizza in clothing. Now, Benetton on the halfway line. You know it's a late night live stream when we start talking about weird foods. Nice run forward from Marin. Now Uden. Back across to the try scorer Luke Casey. A whole potato wrapped in foil. Then placed in the embers on the fireplace. Well done. Put the butter in the potato. Yum. Oh, that sounds alright, doesn't it? Trying to think of what else you can do that with. I remember when we first put our decking in, we had a little bit of, what's it called? Bloody, kind of like clear light on it, if you guys know what that is. Pretty much it's like a clear, kind of similar to iron that you put on a fence, but it's like clear plastic that goes on your decking and whatnot to try and keep the wind out and keep the rain out and everything. We put that in, and we did a temperature test, and it was about 50 degrees on the deck. So we had to change that layout because that was a bit too warm, and you could almost melt some cheese on the decking. But that one's going to be kicked in a touch from Onisi Ratave. Looks like they are going to go right back to where it was kicked from, just a bit too much on it. They've had triple decker pizza. Quite often you must try the triple decker pizza yourself. I feel like the only way to do that here in New Zealand would be to put 3 pizzas on top of each other, which I assume is exactly what a triple decker pizza is. Both are already boxed, so stability not affected by which of them you pick. Remember, Arm was injured, hasn't found form since then. A bit similar to Hendricks. Hey, it's Scott Scrafton. I remember seeing him in the starting lineup, ex-Hurricanes player. But yeah, like the thing is, they've got the perfect opportunity now to either decide to stick with some of the guys that they want to have as experienced heads as they move through the years for the Springboks, or they've got that opportunity to also combine a few of those young guys in there and start to, you know, look towards the future and look towards 2027 by stability. I mean, new faces in the mix. Yeah, I feel like it's a good option to bring in a few young guys, give them the chance, even if they don't get game time, just being in that Bok environment, seeing what it's about. Because as sad as it is, Ebenet's not going to play forever. We've already seen Dwayne Vermeulen go. You know, you've got a few of those older guys. Willie LaRue's not going to be there for too many more years. And the 4-pack as well. You know, your props. Stephen Kitsoff eventually will hang up the boots. So you've got to have that next wave. You know, and that's the main thing. Hamish warming up pizza with his body heat. Sounds like an OnlyFans. Says Grant. Now, kicking this one up high. Ambrose Papier. And with this one to come down, it's going to be slapped back by Kane and Moody. Ruan Nokia gets it away to Ambrose Papier. Another offload to the big man Wilco Lowe. Just looks straight at Onisi Ratave and says, "Can you take me down?" And Onisi Ratave, to his credit, did. Now still on possession, or in possession of the Bulls. Ollie Davidson says the ball is there, so you have to use it. Now away to the left-hand side. Nice stepping coming from Foster. Would do Keanu Reeves, got to admit. Where's that come from? Sebastian? That's just a random admission. Oh, sorry, I see Roof just mentioned about it. Okay, that makes more sense. Evan Cian Marks. Ciaz 1-3 MS, and Alfie's at the moment is winning 16 points to 14. And Willems and Lebok. Ciaz 1-2-3 MS, but it's kicked high by Willie LaRue. Chasing after this one, quickly Arenser. Claimed by Benetton with an awkward bounce, but beautifully cleaned up by Reno Smith. Not the biggest player out there on the field, but he certainly packs a solid punch. Now, great run forward from Ezekor. And we've got to remember, Benetton are only 1 try away from being slightly back in this contest, which, of course, it's going to be tricky to break through this Bulls defence. But Glasgow were able to do it repeatedly in the later stages of the contest. Will we see the same here from Benetton? Great run from Sebastian Negri. Although almost on the ball. No, Marco van Staren doesn't get it. Honeycomb. In fact, that time it is Elric Lowe goes in there and gets himself penalised. Or at least the advantage. Best South African 10 Sasha. All through the gap now. Chipped in behind. Chance if the ball sits up. David Creel is back. Retreats. And they're saying that he didn't put the ball down. I thought that he did place it. I think that was actually... In fact, who was that? He just put that ball in mine. I'm looking through. I think it was Thomas Gauchot. Yes, it was. Then you guys have no Debonaires in New Zealand. It's a shame you don't know what you're missing. Says Mornay Lagrange. And it depends how many changes you make at once. And when we made 14 changes against Wales in the lead up to the last World Cup, we lost. Says Burning Lash. Yeah, it's all about finding that common ground and that middle ground of not chucking everyone into a new lineup, but still having those experienced heads amongst those young guys. So whether that is having an Eben Etzebeth in the locking duo alongside a guy with hardly any caps, whether that's in the front row having a young prop going alongside the other man, only really came to click like. Hope you're not offended, says Cool Story Bro. No worries at all. And it is good to see you. Hopefully you are going to be popping in and out throughout the evening. They're just showing there the tackle that Ruan Nokia made, and then Marco van Staden went for the turnover. The play had not quite rolled away in time. Don't like Debonaires, too much mayonnaise topping. See, I'm not a big fan of mayonnaise, so I may not like Debonaires, but maybe I should stack 3 Pizza Hut pizzas on top of each other and then review it. I always find it interesting, though. I know that this is off topic, but we currently got a stoppage, as there's about to be a line out for Benetton, although now they've thrown it quite quickly, so we will come back to the topic that I was about to talk about in a short moment. Currently sitting about 10 metres out from the line, Benetton. They're about to be told to use it. Haven't made too many metres at all, although now it's starting to move. Pretty lenient in terms of letting them hang on to it at the back of that rolling maul. 5 metres out for the line. Uren snipes and Uren scores. Dion Ferrier is back from injury. Says 1, 2, 3 MS. I'm not actually sure whether or not... I think... Is he back now? Because what was his injury in the end? I know that he got injured in that game up against La Rochelle where they lost about 5 players due to injuries. Fast food pizza sucks. Nothing there is real. Fake food, says Arthur. And come on the ball, says Arthur. And there as well. And Grey are currently down by 7 with 27 minutes to go, says WLK. And I do appreciate the updates on that game as well. It was greatly appreciated. Great try from Uren as well. Sniper around the side, Andy Uren. And now Benetton are back in this game again. And I mentioned about it. If they can pull off 2 wins in a row up against South African sides, that would pretty much secure their spot in the quarterfinals. Normally sides dread to go to South Africa to play. Benetton look like they're meeting it head on with the way that they've been going in this match so far. And the crazy thing is they've conceded so many points. So they're making it hard for themselves, but they are the side at the moment. They have all the momentum. Come on, the Bulls better not go to sleep now, says Justin. Now lining up this kick for Benetton. And it's over. 21 points to 31, a 10-point difference now between these two sides. What started as a safe window for the Bulls of 26 points has now turned into a game of 10. Now, why are the Bulls only playing in the first half? Says Werner, it's a great question. Like, they are normally, up until the last, 5 rounds, they've been an 80-minute side at times. In fact, I think it's been up till that game up against Leinster, when they led at half-time, and then they just conceded try after try in the second half. And it kind of ran away. And it seems to be since that game, they haven't been able to keep a full 80-minute performance going. Bulls please out the lines and win this game. And there's no mayonnaise on my pizza topping, only tomato base. Says Amorne. Do they have pizza perfect in New Zealand? Not that I know of. Don't write Benetton off. Never a good idea. Says Sebastian. Yeah, I feel like they're going to do a Glasgow in this game and get it right down to the wire. Nice comeback by Benetton. Says Brian. But yeah, what I was going to say is I find it amazing here in New Zealand from certain pizza chains they charge you more money for a thin crust than they do for the thick crust. And I find it confusing because where's the extra crust go? Like, you somehow pay for less. But that was just my point from before that I never quite made. Penalty goes the way of the Bulls. Now there's a decision to be made. Do they kick for the corner or do they go for the 3 points? That one's going to be against Kanoni. And mayonnaise is one of the few condiments that doesn't do anything to your skin, FYI. It doesn't do anything to your skin. In what regard? Like, if you rub it on yourself, cool story, bro. Like, I've never had a mayonnaise bath before, but I can't imagine it would be pleasant, and I don't think it would be too great for your skin. Thin crust is the way to go, says Justin. Thin crust more expensive, says Brian. It looks like they're going for the line out here. Akafunamurva throws it in. Now, starting to creep forward just that little bit more here for the Bulls. They need another try. And Benetton are only one try away from getting themselves a bonus point in this match, which would be very impressive from where they did sit. This looks like the Bulls, yep, they're going to go over. Akafunamurva. Benetton held that for so long, but the referee didn't really say to use it. So it means that they're able to sit there, wait for the right opportunity, and then go around the side. It's because thin crust is the correct way of making pizza. The thin crust is an American invention. Oh, sorry, the thick crust. Italian would stab you if you serve that to them. Yeah, but like thick crust is quite nice. Or at least the one I get, pan base, is the one that I like. It's about, I'd say that thick, which is probably too thick, but I like it. I like thin crust, not thick. Thick crust is fluff and thin is dense. So more dough. Says 1, 2, 3 MS. Now Johan Hurson to line up this kick. Again for the Bulls. 50 minutes in. And they've got a 36 points to 21 lead. Who would have thought we'd have so many points scored throughout this contest? That one's hit the post from Johan Hurson here, pulling stuff, says Doctor. And more work involved in making the thin crust, is there? Maybe like a couple extra rolls, but I don't know if it's like $2 extra worth to make it thin. I mean, it doesn't give you acne or blemishes when you eat it. Also good if you got IBS or problems with sugar. Says good story, bro. And classic Italian pizza is short crust, quite thick. At least that's how my Italian neighbours made it, says Brian. I love that this whole chat has been about pizza because we've got an Italian team playing and somehow that is the topic we got onto. In fact, it was started by a South African talking about pizza, though, I believe. Hopefully you can make your own triple-decker pizza. I've made triple-decker pizza myself. Certainly you can do it. See the Mono Lagrange. Now, Benetton, they have lost that ball in the breakdown. Eldrick Lowe, 51 minutes in, a great run forward from him. Couldn't find his offload to Villy LaRue. And that was very close to Benetton managing to get themselves the turnover. Lucasi's been taken off the field for Benasconi. I ate pizza made in an oven. Like an oven or a pizza oven. Because most pizzas are made in a pizza oven. Normally. French toast is also thinner and more expensive. Says, cool story, bro. Now Benetton managed to take it back. There was a poor pass from Ezekor. Gave it straight back to Kutli Arinsa. But they will now be going back for the original scrum. Benetton, one of my favourite teams. Although I'm a Stormers and Lions fan. Says Brian. And wood-fired for the win. Says Zenda. Although, isn't that still a wood-fired oven? Normally. I love a chili halloumi pizza. Okay. I probably wouldn't have a chili halloumi pizza personally, but that's because I find sweet chili sauce spicy. So anything that's more spicy than that, I end up just pretty much having a hot mouth for a while, which is what spice is supposed to do, isn't it? Are there any Italians watching the stream? Benvenuto. If there are, says Sebastian. And 21-21 with 20 minutes to go, says WLK. And the Alphys versus Grey game. And Verna's going for the Alphys as well. That the way, big boy, eat up, says Blues Nate. Still another 26 minutes remaining in this contest. I should mention the next game that we are starting is going to be at 2 a.m. New Zealand time. This game currently making great time, though, to give us a bit of a break in between the streams. Nice big fen there. Now back across A bit of a shuffle step there from Benetton as they look to attack. That was one of the first time I've seen that in a long time. That was actually, oh, what a play from David Creel. And he's going to go himself. He scores the try. Get him in the Springboks right now. Because he has just scored himself another ripper of a try there, David Creel. Please, Rasi, give David Creel a run for the box, says Justin, built on pizza. And they're all ovens, but the wood fire one is the real deal, says Zenda. Have to hit the road, guys. Enjoy the rest of the games. I'm out, says Brian. So we will see you later. How's your cooking skills? I mean, I can get by if I had to, I think is the best way of describing it. Like, I'll probably still burn the occasional thing. I also hate any place that makes chocolate pizza. It's really fair. And Ravovo is playing for the Bristol Bears, says Jalotho there. And the Creel namesakes are on fire at the moment, says Zenda. Sounds like a cooking channel. I was making coffee and was listening to the conversation about pizza. Nice to have variation during rugby. That's the thing, though. Some people get really, really mad when we don't just talk about rugby. Like, the thing is, though, we talk for 12 hours on these live streams. We got 3 Super Rugby games we've already done. We got 3 URC games that we are covering today. So every once in a while, a new topic is quite a nice change. It's a change of speed. It's a change of, environment for just a little bit. That's a good kick from Johan Hussen to now make the score 43 points to 21 in favour of the Bulls. They're back to that nice lead that they were after. So, I think they'll be a lot more happy now with how the scoreline sits, but they have to keep going. But great try from David Creel. But yeah, it's a welcome change. We had one the other day that we talked about a different topic for about maybe 30 seconds while there was a reset and while there was an injury. And someone said, nope, now that you don't talk about just rugby, I'm unsubscribing and I'm leaving. And it's like there's going to be times that just a little bit of something sneaks in. That's going to be another penalty going in favour of the Bulls here. It's for offside against Benetton, and they have called for the scrum on the halfway line. That was actually from chasing their own kickoff as well. Doesn't it make you hungry? Not really. I think I've got used to not eating for long periods of time while streaming. That was just kind of another day in the park. In between my last 2 live streams, I know I mentioned about how I was going to have some tea or something. I think I had half a handful of potato chips, and that's about it. So that now brings me up to having potato chips and an up and go for today, which is like a little drink. But we've been up for almost 12 hours. So I'm used to not eating a lot while streaming, if that makes sense. I remember we spoke about a hot curry not too long ago. People here like food a lot. They do, definitely on the URC streams. Super Rugby, we don't get a lot of food chat. But I think because it's lunchtime for you guys in South Africa, and, it's around that, it's an afternoon snack kind of time. So I think that's where all the food chat comes into it. The non-rugby chat is the best part of the live stream with Hamish, says Grant. Yeah, we like to mix it in because at the end of the day, we like to show that we're not just a robot saying everything that's happening in the game. Like scrum resets, we don't need to explain when the players are bending at the hip, sticking the bum up and then going at the other guy. We can chat around a little bit. 5 Bulls scrums have been won throughout this game compared to the 3 of Benetton. Those 6-pack of Big Ben pies ain't the same anymore, aren't they? I haven't had them in a while. But I'll be disappointed if I try one and it's not great. Hamish said self-control, not as much self-control as he will have in his 40s, though. That's another... Kane and Moody's just running them in. That's one of the easiest hat tricks you will see for a player. Every time, just no one wanted to touch him. They went, no, it's Kane and Moody. We're not going to get him. And then just 3 tries. 48 points now on the ball for the Bulls. I think we're going to see an 80-point game. Super Rugby doesn't have food chat because there's no good food in New Zealand or Australia. Oh, brutal. Need to eat, boys, seriously, not for getting big. To keep your energy level and keep healthy weight, brother, says Doctor. And then I need to go to Chicago to taste a slice of their pizza because it's lunchtime, says Ryan. It's closer to food time for you guys than for us here in New Zealand with 1 a.m. A hat trick for Moody. He's done very well. Hamish doesn't mind when we take the piss. He's an absolute legend. Like and subscribe, says Sebastian there. But yeah, at the end of the day, we don't take ourselves too seriously. And I feel like you guys also, that's a good bit of advice. Don't take anything too seriously in life. Yes, things will happen and whatnot, and they'll be annoying. like this stream, we just talked rubbish for 20 minutes while we tried to get the stream up. And I was very nervous and sweating because it wouldn't work, but we got it up in the end, and it's all good. That kind of sounds like I'm describing a sexual act, which I was not. But now that I've said that, if you listen to that part again, sounds a bit dodgy. He's missed that one, David Creel. If only he could kick as well as he scores tries. He'd be a shoo-in for the box. Now we have Gadea. If the Bulls concede 50, then they are bad, says Zender. Gray will take it, says Arthur, because they are currently up by 3. I think I saw did pass by. And Alfie's gone to sleep the second half, says Justin. Yeah, Kane and Moody, anytime he's touched the ball, Benetton have gone to sleep. Unfortunately, because it's like alcohol time in South Africa now, people getting hungry. Says Ritsima, because it's sport, it's not exactly life and death stuff, so food it is, or food isn't, says Brian. And yeah, like, that's the thing, like, we still get to see some great rugby along the way, even on a poor game. Like, sometimes the games with the most scrum resets are sometimes the most entertaining, because they're the ones that we normally talk the most rubbish on. But then we also, eventually, like, those games that have a good last 10 minutes are always thrillers. And a lot of fun. Chris Smith onto the field for the Bulls. He does boot that one extremely high. And Moody slaps it back because he's just having a really, really good game. Him and David Creel at the moment are fighting for that man of the match contention. I don't see Martin Zema on the field as of yet, though, which I would like to see, because for some reason I think he's going to score a try. Benetton keeping the ball alive. Looks like Ruan Nokia tried to go up for it, but he has dropped that ball. And the scrum feed now is for Benetton. You might as well start eating healthy now, because it only gets harder to eat well when you get older. Lots of people have heart attacks in South Africa. Says, cool story, bro. And Afrikaans high school, I think, and cooking is my forte. I'm very much an experienced cooker. So a chef, Mornay, would you say, is a name for it rather than an experienced cooker? So you're willing to provide commentary for your own, we'll see. Be an easy job. It wouldn't take 2 hours like these rugby games, that's for sure. The way I live, life travels the world, meet lovely peoples. YOLO. Tell you what, I haven't heard the term YOLO in a very long time. The other one that went round was TOLO, which means a completely different thing that we will not say on the channel yet. We'll see. It's bride time now, 3:20. Oh, that is a question for you people in South Africa at the moment. What is the plan if you're having a braai? What's going on it today? What type of meats, what type of arrangements have you got organised? Do let me know, because we bloody love food here. I've been fishing for a sex tape title for the last 20 minutes. Says Grant, eat healthy, exercise and beer. Says Zender, but now Benetton, they are in possession. The ball was out for Uden. In fact, I think they've already made the replacement for Benetton. In fact, yes, they have. They've decided to bring Alejandro Garbisi onto the field now. And if Benetton want any chance of winning this game, they need 4 converted tries, which is going to be quite the tricky task. That's going to be loose, and slight knock on there. And Baldwin's chops and steaks. Sounds all right. If it wasn't a 14 or so hour plane ride, I'll be there in a second, Brian. This is why your channel is unique. You mix the rugby stuff up with different subjects. The subscribers enjoy the rugby, and we all have some fun together. Some channels too serious. So here's Brian. Yeah, like for me, I can't do serious. Like, I try. Every once in a while, we'll be slightly serious. But, like, you guys make me chuckle all the time, which then kind of takes away any sort of seriousness that I could have had. Like, if that makes sense. And I prefer it that way because, you know, if I say something that sounds like an innuendo, I'll say, oh, that sounds a bit dodgy, rather than just letting it flow and letting it simmer. You know, you might as well embrace the awkwardness. That's the name of my sex tape, Grant. You know, you've been trying to come up with one for about 15 months. Embrace the awkwardness. That's the name of it. That's going to be my autobiography, if I can ever be bothered writing one. I don't really like reading books, let alone writing them. Now, Onisi Ratave, he's got the ball 14 metres out from the line. Tackle made from Nassim Kar and gets him down. Now, Alejandro, that's just a fun name to say. Garbisi going across, tackled by Ran Vermaak. That's a horrible name. No, it's not. That's just the reality of life, you know. Who wants to live forever? The South African diet. Says cool story, bro. And Pofferatoyes for the Bry. I feel like I've butchered that, I would say, for the pronunciation. Now, a little chip of mine from Gutli Arinse. He's knocked it on. Ezekor has taken it back for Benetton. They need one more try to get themselves the bonus point. That is something that they will be wanting from this game at bare minimum. Now, Mako Zanon offloads it on the outside to Ignacio Mendy. Left-hand side for Benetton again, trying to find that gap. A bit chillier in Durban for me to have a braai. Later I'm going to buy a pizza. Just like margarita and cheese and crispy base, plain and simple. Nothing wrong with that. Like, my mum's favourite type of pizza is just a plain cheese pizza. But, you know, each to their own. It's actually a very nice one. That's going to be a great pass. Missed tackle. Who was that? That was Johan Hrubela, who decided to just miss the tackle completely. Benetton get their bonus point, and it's going to be the try for Toa Halafihi, in fact. Scores. I thought for a second I was going to have to try and say a really hard name, and then they put it up on the screen. I rejected 2 other streamers. Favour of Kiwi lads. I'm a South African, says Brian. And I have to say, it is absolutely awesome, the amount of South Africans that we do get on the streams. Like, hopefully, over the years, you guys have got used to me maybe mispronouncing a couple names here and there, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it is thoroughly just awesome, the fact that we've got people from all around the world watching. Definitely because these games are in the middle of the night here in New Zealand, you know, we've still got a few Kiwis pop in and out, but, yeah, it's great to have people from all around. But that is the Benetton bonus point try, like I mentioned. Spare ribs, very nice. Embrace the awkwardness. No one wants to see where people embrace, says Sebastian. How are you supposed to know is a 6? And Bulls should really get a new defence coach, says Outlaw. And unfortunately, no time for Brian today. Had quite a few people here at Barn in Wellington. So lots to do, says Bruce. I just realised I shout out the Barn in Wellington a lot, Bruce. I feel like if I'm ever in Wellington, surely like I get a bowl of chips or something for free, don't I? Embrace your aunt. Says cool story, bro. But Onisi Ratawe just got it away to Toa Halafihi. He stepped. Grobel got set the wrong way as a braai dish with liver for Pofferatoyes, who's once again mispronounced badly by myself. Now 14 minutes remaining. Chris Smith about to kick this one off full circle. Listen to test matches on the radio in the 80s. Now in 2024 we listen to Hamish, says Arthur. And isn't it kind of like cool in a way, the fact that now you've gone from being able to just listen to commentary to now you can actually interact. Like that's just an awesome concept that, like, the internet, there's some things on it that shouldn't be on it, of course, but the fact that, like, you guys from all around the world can comment something and then, like, I can say something straight back that you've written, like Steve, for instance. Hello, Steve. He said, hey there, Steve from Johannesburg. You are excellent at what you do, and I really appreciate your channel and your demeanour. Like, Steve, theoretically, is like 12 hours away, at least. But instantly, I hope you're doing well, Steve. And thank you very much for tuning in. It is a giggle listening to your pronunciation of names. I do it too, sometimes on purpose. Says Doctor. Currently Benetton, they've got themselves a bonus point, so they got 1 in this game. If they get themselves 2 more converted tries, they get 2 bonus points from this contest. If I was in New Zealand, I would teach you to be a better cook, and yes, cooking is where I get my money. What do you cook? You cook meth? Not that well, actually, you make a killing in New Zealand. Boy, there's some people who love themselves some recreational activity substances here in New Zealand. Not myself. Cops were down the road the other day, though. That was interesting. Bit of a raid going on. But Embroas Papia goes for the box kick. Nicely taken by Benetton. Halafihi is the position there. And to the left-hand side. In fact, they're going to go for the 50-22, and that is a decent kick. Well watched, though, by David Kriel at the back. In fact, it's gone all the way, and it was Willie LaRue. I'm in Korea, Hamish. I'd love to go to Korea, or Japan. My sister, she's going to Japan next year, which is going to be an interesting one. If I was, I read that one, didn't I? As a snake type, very dangerous, says Loretsema. Do not have a TV, so cannot watch any live rugby without paying for DSTV, only to watch sport. Further style, commentary, and interaction all combined, says Brian. And the thing is, it was definitely throughout lockdown that I think it was, the most crucial, if that makes sense, because, there were people all around the world who, in lockdown, didn't get to talk to a lot of people. And the fact that we were live each weekend doing random games on the channel, that was the opportunity for people to be able to chat. And I feel like we made the community pretty strong in that time when people weren't able to say hi to their neighbours and whatnot. They were still able to come on the Kiwi Lads and randomly listen to me talk about pizza at 1 a.m. But, great time. You just have the one sister? I do. Older sister as well. She's about to go to Australia to live, which is interesting. I say a lot of things are interesting, don't I? Hamish is doing a great job at the moment. Good job, because the South African team is winning. Says Gold Story Bro, but that penalty, I believe, is going to go against the front row of Connacht. They're not playing, it's Benetton, the other green team. It's a big fatty sausage, says Arthur. For Perfettas. Oh, is that how you say it? Okay. Maybe. Possibly. Everyone knows the Scottish are the best cooks. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouths. They were born with a silver spoon in their hand, cooking with the other. Says Sebastian, and I stopped watching sports when I turned 17. Started drinking until 2020. Says Mr. Orlin. That's the thing, I very rarely watch sport now without doing a commentary for it. Definitely rugby. There's the occasional Super Rugby game that I'll watch, or URC match, but 90% of the games that I watch now are with you guys, which is, that was quite cool. We got it's like we've got a couch set up and we're all watching it in the same place. But I'm just on a chair and you guys are scattered throughout different countries, which is cool. I've said cool a lot on the stream as well, but it is the internet. That's going to be now Benetton taking the mark with Garbisi, first name Alejandro. Perfettas are those little donut balls. I had those in Amsterdam. They were so good. Says Anthony Walsh. Great kick downfield from Benetton, managing to clear their lines with Reno Smith. This game is not completely done for either of these sides. I believe that the Bulls, they were not too far away from replacing their front row, or at least in the props. Looks like Gerhard Stenkamp is now making his way from the field. Same with Mark. Same with, who else is going off? I think Wilco Lowe has made his way off. What do we call the British Lions in a country without lions? The British, I guess. Mr. Kiwi Lads Studio. There was a shack or something in it. Well, Sebastian, if you like the Kiwi Lads Studio, it's been on the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel in quite a few videos. Recently, we've been filming quite a bit out there. Commentary for a sport you never watched before, something like Kabeddi, sorry, hopefully I pronounced it correctly. I mean, if they showed it here in New Zealand, I'd be keen. I also want to try and, at some stage, find a really small broadcast in terms of on YouTube or something that's showing a random game or random sport, and approach them to be able to do the commentary over it, while it's happening live, be able to put myself in the corner and then watch it with you guys, just some random sport, some random backyard cricket type arrangement, or just random African rugby game, and be able to do some sort of reaction to it would be quite cool. This looks like another penalty on the way of the Bulls now. Hardly watch rugby at the moment. Busy watching NBA and NHL series final. Isn't there one of the NBA that's gone to the 7th game? Is that the NBA or NHL that's gone to the 7th? I know someone who moved to Seoul for a job was a good career move. Nice. Well done, Bruce. That was a good one. And thanks to the Kiwi Lads, can chickens, says Blues Nate. And Alfie's at the moment is leading. Speaking of leading, this is to bring up 51 points. And he's got it over Chris Smith. He just doesn't miss. That's what I'm talking about, Hamish. Something live on YouTube. Yeah, I'd have to work out how to do it without any sort of copyright problems, is the big thing. And when is the Tyson Fury fight? I think it's in about 9 hours time or somewhere around there, maybe 8.5 hours time. So when he's supposed to be fighting Usyk. 51 points now to the 28 of Benetton. I should also mention the next game that is taking place is in 30 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen. We are covering that one on the channel as well. And that is going to be the contest taking place between the Lions as well as Glasgow. That's going to be an epic game. Mystery Science Theatre and Kiwi Lads are the best live chat sites on YouTube. Mystery Science Theatre. I've never actually heard of that one. I assume they talk about different things than pizzas, though, more than likely. Nokia just apologising. I don't think he has too much to apologise for. He's had a fantastic game so far. He was looking straight into the sun and has, I think it's a second handling error now of the game. Late in the contest, it gives Benetton another opportunity here. They scored themselves 2 converted tries. They would move up to 42, which still wouldn't give them the bonus point. So for Benetton, there's not really too much on the line here other than their points differential and trying to cut that down that little bit more before we get into the really important stage of the competition, which we are getting very close to. The Bulls, if they win this game, which they should, they will actually move up into second place for now. Now, Leinster still have a game in hand. Same with Glasgow, who are playing up against the Lions in the very short moment. There were possibly Lions and Bears in Britain a long time ago before they were extinct. And 17 years of no sport, but I'm sure the boys are not missing the drunk sport talk. Says Mr. Orlin. And the North only won 1 World Cup ever. That is true. England, 2003. Now advantage in favour of Benetton. I think that was Garbisi just losing his footing there. Good attacking run forward once more. Fun starting. Look for the turnover. Couldn't get it. Now quick tap taken by Alejandro Garbisi. That's a big run from Ezekor, who's only a metre or so out. I think that is not Halafihi. He'll be waiting for it patiently for his next opportunity. There he is in the bright red headgear. I watched Ugandan rugby at the weekend. It was grassroots sport and colourful. The crowd invades pitches when they're not happy. So here's Eric. That is the try for Benetton again. And this time it's going to be Marco Zanon who has got it. Oh, Grace College got it in the end, did they? 31-27. And Hamish, maybe you could get some sort of deal with second-tier countries to do commentary and watch at the same time. That would be a plus for everyone. Says Brian. Yeah, I don't know what type of ruling or rules that they have around it, but it would be pretty awesome to be able to do some sort of smaller games to help promote like rugby wherever it is in the world. Like, I'd love to be able to do the local games here, but I believe they are tied in with some sort of deal with Sky that you're not allowed to broadcast their contests, even though it's grassroots rugby. But yeah, I think Sky does some of the coverage, or someone in New Zealand does some coverage, so you get in trouble. England won 3 World Cups, but South Africa cheated twice. Sure they did. And hopefully Fury will shut him. Says 1-2-3 MS, but now Reno Smith to line up this kick. I mentioned how they would need 3 tries if they wanted to get back within the bonus point. And if they're going to score 3 tries, they might as well score 4. They've got 2.5 minutes or 3.5 minutes remaining. Not a lot of time to work with. Rugby Europe is free. There's 1-2-3 MS, but I assume someone along the lines has paid some sort of broadcasting fee as the one thing, so that it is free to air. Yeah, just a slip there from David Creel. Real mistake for that man, but we've got to call it out when it happens, of course. We'll be disappointed not to be able to make that tackle. And school rugby has become a big thing with TV deals. Yep, and same with, like, in New Zealand, they have the schoolboy rugby is always on Sky. That's nicely taken by Toa Halafihi. Rich, what is your favourite dish? I'll just say probably either chicken tenders or a pizza. You know, you can't beat them. Now out to the side. Do also love just a bowl of French fries. If they're good chips, happy enough. And not at all, check it out. Hamish says 1-2-3 MS. And yes, South Africa was cheated of not winning another 2, says Ritzema. Garbisi is a fast scrum half, says Eric. And Hamish doesn't have a favourite anything. I love mangoes, Grant. Some people will understand that, seeing as Grant absolutely hates mangoes. Tell you what, we're going to get a chat. Yes or no, do you like mangoes? We'll see how many say yes, how many say no. That's going to be turned over. Now Johan Hrubela does start to make his way forward. European rugby is 0 within the Southern players. That ball's gone loose. So we will go back for the original infringement. No. What, Eric? What? The first person answer about the mango says no. I'm disappointed. Oh, cross kick from Chris Smith. But they will have to go back. Yes for mango, says Shane. Good answer. Yes, says Tibor. Oh, there we go. Now we're starting to get the numbers going. Mango's a big no, says Grant. 100 seconds remaining at the moment. Great commentary. Are you going to do both games to follow? I am, yes. So we are going to be doing the game between Lions and Glasgow next. And then the game after that one is going to be the matchup between the Stormers and Connacht. So we aren't doing Sharks versus Cardiff, but we will give you guys like pretty much the rundown of what's happening in that game at the same time. I'm watching you as alternative commentary. Can I suggest you make like my grandfather did for television, and he used to follow the game on the radio? Put a diagram of the field up, says Lollipop. It's normally, like I've tried doing diagrams and whatnot before, very briefly, but they didn't seem to work because the coverage in New Zealand seems to be about a minute delayed. So it does make it very tricky to have it there because it normally gives away it. It's a little bit similar to the scoreboard. At times it's a bit too quick, so we don't actually see it happen until after the scoreboard's updated. I have to listen to the Quins match at 3 p.m. here. Says Eric, they're getting close to the try line now, though, for the Bulls within 4 metres. Embros Papier has been replaced by Keegan Johannes, and that will be the try. It's Mako van Staren, is it? No, it's actually Hrubela who does manage to score it. And South Africa is a big exporter of avocados, can you believe, says Ritzema. They grow mango in Bulls land, says Tibor. And I love mangoes from Johnny. Mangoes, yes, newer non-stringy types. And yes for mangoes, no to oranges. And as well. Okay, so it seems like mangoes are starting to get a few more votes, which is good, because we do love a mango. Yeah, in the end, just reaching out, Johan Hrubela. And we'll finish off this game, just called field possession while calling the game. Says Arthur, that is normally the easier way of doing it. Chris Smith, he's got 1 from 1, 35 metres out. Should be easy enough for him. This has been a high-scoring game, ladies and gentlemen. When we look at it already, we've seen 91 points scored throughout this contest. Now, I will ask the question. Chris Smith has missed. That doesn't happen too often. Julius, Lions play and Stormers at 1800. Yep, so we are doing the first game between Lions Glasgow, and then after that going into the next one. So, Doctor, in the chat, I'm going to ask you the question. Your first game of the URC that you followed, 56 points to 35. You said that the competition was boring. Has this made you maybe change your mind just that little bit? Charts are not practical, says Arthur. And some very good mangoes come from Mozambique and Tanzania. Very nice non-stringy and soft yellow orange inside. Aka is why mangoes exist. And Swat is or Zwat says 123 MS. At the end of this contest, so the bonus point in favour of the Bulls. Benetton will also get their own bonus point for being within, well, they got themselves the 4 tries, so that is where their bonus point does come from. They will remain in the top 8 just as we currently sit, but there is a chance, of course, that can all change over the last couple rounds of the URC. A few more games taking place later on tonight, which we are also going to be covering on the channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got 20 minutes until that next live stream starts between the Lions and Glasgow, so be sure to pop over to that stream, have a bit of a chat about it as well. Super session, says Arthur there, and good game, cheers Hamish, says Mr. All-In, and there as well. And tell you what, at the start of this live stream, I did not anticipate that we would be able to do this game the way that we have, mainly because they stopped showing it here in New Zealand after about 2 minutes, or probably 2 minutes before kickoff, cut out for the first 15 minutes of the game We got it on my phone, which in the end did work out relatively well. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as it is greatly appreciated, like I mentioned. And yeah, we will see you for that game between the Lions and Glasgow that is kicking off in around 20 or so minutes time. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.